Welcome to another SP Tools product demonstration video. Today we're going to talk about spanners or wrenches, depending on what part of the world you come from. They've got a different name. So we've pretty much put out here a bit of an array of our product line. So we're going to work our way through all the different types of products, what's available, what's not. This isn't everything that we've got, but it's a very good representation of what you can get in the SP Tools range. So we're going to start up here with what's commonly known as a stubby wrench. And these stubby wrenches obviously come in a few different formats. This is our standard stubby wrench manual. This is our reversible stubby wrench with the gear drive on the end. So very simple. And this here is our flex head stubby wrench. So that's the thing. Going up the next ones, these are just our standard gear drive spanners in standard length. Again, non-reversible gear wrench. And obviously for reverse, you just tip it over the other way. Reversible. And very simple, like such, or fidget tool, as some people like to call them. And up here is again our flex head, and which flexes a full 180 degrees from side to side, and again, flick it from side to side when you want to use the reverse. A few specialised double ring spanners. This one here has has your gear drive on one end and a 0 degree offset. Great tool for breaking a bolt and then putting your gear drive down the other end and bringing it off or putting it on depending on what you're doing. So that's that one. This one here is a bit of a morph of our standard gear drive. This one has two ring ends, obviously two different ends, 17, 19 mil on these, both reversible. Great little spanner, that one. Another variation of that again, this is our flex head 19 mil. So again, it runs a 19 mil with 15 degree offset on one end where you can break a bolt, and on the other end, the flex head gear drive, which in this particular one you can set your flex. So you set it at a set angle and away you go. If you want it to go the other way for reverse, just click it into position and away you go. So that's another one. Going up to our next, these are our two variations of flare nut spanners. As you can see, a flare nut spanner is a particular design, six-sided. So you can drop it over the top of your tube, slide it onto your nut to undo. To make it a bit more universal, this is a flex head flare nut spanner, particularly good in some of the small European cars now, getting to brake lines that you have a hard time accessing. Our E-Torx spanner, so external E-Torx, this one, as you can see, 6-pointed with the E-Torx, an E18 and E20. And then we'll move on to our ring spanners. We have 4 different types of ring spanners. This is called a 75 degree offset, or quite often known as a Euro ring spanner. It actually offsets 75 degrees from the head, and then it goes back to 15 degrees after that. This is more the American style. It offsets 40 degrees from the head, and then goes back to 15 degrees after that. This is a flat, 15 degree offset, but it's basically similar to our flat design, but with a small 15 degree offset, as you can see there. And then this is your 0 degree offset, which is absolutely nothing. It's 100% 0 degree from the shaft, or 90 degree from the shaft, I should say, but they always talk about it at 0 degree. That's a bit of a range. Also, up the back here, a couple of things I put together. This here is an EVO foam insert. We use this in toolkits, so you can buy spanners in this format. You can buy our wrenches or spanners in a pouch, if so be, and some of the product also comes in these black trays, depending on the product. So available in all sorts of different formats so that you can put in your toolbox how you see fit. A couple of quick features I want to point out to everybody. So this is our dual flat drive and quad drive ring open end spanner. Now, what I'll explain that means, this here is the quad drive end, and this is the dual flat drive end, and I'll explain what that means. So here I have a standard, covered the brand up so we don't offend anybody, standard ring open end spanner, and that's got a standard open end. And if you come in here, Dave, and have a look, you can actually put that on, and when you bring that to drive, you can see it only grabs on the 2 points, here and here, as I pull down the spanner. So it's right on the very point is where it grabs. If I bring the quad drive in, slide it onto the same one, you can see it actually moves it away from the point and out onto the flat, here, 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 and it grabs on the point just here on its own. So it's 3 flats and 1 point. That increases the amount of force you can put on an open end by 400% over a standard version. without doing damage to the fastener. So that's the difference between the open ends, standard open end, quad drive open end, and if you go back up to the other end where you were, Dave, you can see pretty much all of our spanners now, oh, that one's an old one, but all of them now have quad drive open ends. Even this one here as is changing over as we speak. So we're going to make that a standard feature on anything we sell that has an open end on it. On the other end, we have our dual flat drive. Now, internal flat drive, or flank drive as it's known by some, or surface drive as it's known by some, there's multiple different names, means that when you put this onto your fastener, again, it doesn't grab on the corners, it grabs on the flats. That's the first feature. Even this spanner here, quite a cheap spanner, it does exactly the same, grabs on the flats, not on the corners. But what we also add is no taper inside here. See there, there's absolutely 90 degrees between the internal and the external part, and as you can see here, it's about 20 odd degrees from the internal to the external. Now, what most people don't realise is that taper and this taper, when a bolt's damaged, sometimes match up, and that's what gives that feeling of, if you don't quite get it on, the spanner wants to pop off. Now on this quite good quality fastener, hasn't been damaged, it's not going to do it, but if I had a damaged fastener, and if those two pieces pick up on each other, then immediately it would try and pop off. The other thing is, the drive area in there is only about 8 mil in this one. The drive area in there, because we don't have that taper on each end, is more like around about 12 to 13 mil. Same size, but that's the difference in length and the amount of grip you get on the spanner. That makes a big difference when it comes to the amount of force you can put on something, again, without causing any damage or without popping off. So that's our range of spanners there. I want to show you one little more thing, which is all about how accurate you make a size of a spanner. Quite a few manufacturers, you know, for want of words, are a bit sloppy when it comes to that. So come over here. I've got over here a damaged fastener. We put this particular spanner here on before, which is not an SP. We put it on here and we pulled it until, as you can see, I'll just get it on, it's not working. It's just flopping around. If I go to our 8 mil spanner, put it on, as you can see, it's still got really good grip. If I go to the open end, again, and look at it, you can see there's quite a bit of, oops, get it on the damaged part, there's quite a bit of floppiness there. If I put this open end on, as you can see, that floppiness almost disappears. So that's the difference between tolerance. And tolerance is how accurate you make the size. So this 8 mil, I haven't measured them, that you would find this is actually closer to the bottom of the tolerance range, and this is probably at the higher end of the tolerance range. That makes a big difference when you're trying to undo bolts. As I said, put that on, and we've stripped it, look, gone, done, never going to pull that again. Put this one on. If I pull hard enough, I mean, this is in the vise, so it's not going to go anywhere. If I pull hard enough, I will eventually, no, I'm not going to, I will eventually, yeah, there it goes. I will eventually strip it because it's not, obviously it's fixed. But that gives you an idea of the difference in tolerance between two models. Thanks for coming. I hope that's been a little bit helpful when it comes to selecting the right spanner for the right job. We'll see you at the next one.